They say when someone dies, they leave behind 3 things: what they owned, what they meant to people, and what they never wanted anyone to find. My dad was one of those men who lived like a locked drawer. Quiet. Routine. Never raised a hand, but never gave a hug either. When he died, all he left me was an old Ford, a couple of leather-bound journals filled with shopping lists, and a key. That key, brass and dull, came in an envelope with no return address, no note, just a postmark from 3 days before the funeral, and a small tag attached that read, Unit 119. I didn't even know he rented a storage unit. The place was just outside of town, wedged between a drainage ditch and a boarded-up bowling alley. You know the kind. Long rows of corrugated metal garages, fluorescent lights flickering like they're gasping for breath. The guy behind the glass at the front office looked like he hadn't moved since the 90s. He barely glanced at me before sliding a clipboard under the hole in the plexiglass. "Are you family?" he asked. "Yeah." "Son." He sucked on his teeth. "That's so." He said nobody should ever open that unit. I paused. "What do you mean?" He shrugged. "Some people rent them for junk, some for secrets. Your old man said if anyone ever came asking about 119, they should be told not to touch it. Guess that makes you anyone." The padlock was antique, heavy, felt colder than the metal around it. I slipped the key in and had to twist hard. It didn't open easy. It resisted, like the unit didn't want to be opened. When it finally clicked, I felt it in my chest, like when an elevator drops a little too fast, a thud behind your ribs. The door screeched up on rusted rollers, and I stood there, staring into dark. No light, no sound, just a rectangle of shadow. I stepped inside and pulled the string for the light. A single bulb buzzed and came to life, casting a pale yellow circle. Dust hung in the air like fog. There was only one thing in the unit: a chair, a folding one, and on it sat a wooden box, maybe a foot wide, polished, carved with vines and little cherub faces. A music box. It didn't look evil. It looked old, elegant, fragile. Something you'd expect to find in an antique shop or your grandmother's attic. Something safe. Until it played. I didn't touch it, I swear I didn't. But as I stepped closer, it started. The tune was slow, deliberate. Notes like falling icicles. A lullaby, almost. But wrong. Like a nursery rhyme with a note missing. And then, I saw movement. In the back corner. A flicker. Gone before I could even turn my head. I bent down and noticed a scrap of paper tucked underneath the chair leg. It looked like it had been there a while. Faded. Curled edges. It was in my dad's handwriting. If you're reading this, I'm sorry. I did everything I could to keep it locked away. Fire didn't work. Water didn't work. I even tried burying it once. Dug it back up 3 days later. And it was clean. No dirt. No mud. No sign it had ever been underground. This thing doesn't belong in our world. It remembers. If you open it, it learns you. If it learns you, it follows. I don't know what it wants, but I know what it takes. Do not play it twice. The music had stopped, and then it started again. I should have walked away. I know that now. Instead, like a dumbass in a horror movie, I wrapped it in an old towel, stuffed it in the back seat of the Ford, and brought it home. That night, my dog wouldn't come near me. Shadow, a pit mix that had been through thunder, fireworks, even a break-in once, just stood at the edge of the hallway growling. Not barking, growling. Low and steady, staring at the box sitting on my kitchen counter. I put it in the garage. Still, I woke up around 3:13 a.m. to the sound of music. The same damn melody. Faint. echoing through the walls like it was inside the pipes. And in the hallway, I swear I saw a shadow walk past my door. I spent the next day digging. Local archives, newspaper clippings, Reddit threads. Turns out, Unit 119 had a history. Tenants before my dad. One died in a car accident, head-on collision, no skid marks, no brakes. Another had a mental breakdown, left dozens of voice messages claiming the music won't stop. One even went missing, left a note on his fridge that read, "It's learning me." All connected to the same unit, all tied to the same object. I made the worst mistake that night. I was drunk, tired, angry. I opened it again. I wanted to understand it. I wanted to own the fear. But fear isn't something you own. It owns you. The tune didn't start right away this time. It waited. And then it changed. It spoke. Not in words, but in memories. I heard my mother's voice. She died when I was 12. I smelled the cinnamon of her kitchen, heard her laughing at something I said once. Something I don't even remember anymore. And then the laughing turned into crying, then screaming, then static, and I blacked out. I woke up in my car, parked back outside the storage facility. The music box was gone. So was the key. But Unit 119 was sealed, the padlock replaced. New, shiny, like no one had touched it in years. The man at the desk didn't remember me. There was no record of my name in the system. No death certificate for my dad. No forwarding address. It's been 5 years. Sometimes I still hear the music. Low, far away. And sometimes, when I close my eyes too long, I see the folding chair, the box, the thing behind it, watching, waiting. Someone will find it again. Someone always does. Just don't let it be you.